What's up, guys? My name is Dino King. Welcome back to another video. So I'm going to be reacting to a documentary of Tyrannosaurus Rex. So the video is called "Was the T-Rex Really as Fierce as Its Legend Says?" And this is T-Rex: An Evolutionary Journey. So this is the evolution of where T-Rex actually came from during 65 million years ago, during the Cretaceous or late Cretaceous period. So this is by the YouTuber Unscripted, and I'm just this is one of my opinion and some things that this may have gotten wrong. So I mean, this was posted on 2019, so it's still relatively like sort of up to date, but a couple things may be wrong. So let's just see. Hopefully the oh god, hold on. All right, there we go.
Basketball is back. Stream the action live with YouTube TV.
Don't post me with another.
Cats, smart enough to get their claws into your will.
Very
Not
nice.
smart.
Okay.
Its name was Tyrannosaurus Rex.
It's like walking with dinosaurs right there.
It was 13 meters long and weighed 6 tons. This awesomely powerful creature
That's
was
not
king
accurate.
of
I
the
don't think T-Rex would be able
dinosaurs.
to jump. Okay. Alright, here's one little thing that I'm gonna nitpick. I don't think T-Rex would be able to jump just because of its sheer weight. I mean, it said it would. How much did it say it weighed again?
This awesome It was 13 meters long and weighed 6 tons.
Yeah, it wouldn't be able to jump 6 tons? That is. Okay, if T-Rex would be able to jump, it would have to have legs that are more powerful than the strongest machine in the entire planet. Now, if you think about that, that would be really expensive to build. Now, T-Rex, 6 tons? Think about that, 6 tons. An animal wouldn't be able to jump with that sheer weight force, not unless if evolution told it to have strong legs. T-Rex has not been known to jump. Now, I'm just saying maybe this is just because to make it show that T-Rex is really cool and all that, but like in real life, T-Rex would not really be able to jump. It's basically scientifically proven. T-Rex was way too heavy to even jump, to even use its legs. Even though its legs were extremely powerful for pinning down prey, it wasn't that powerful to lift its entire body off the ground in the air for a couple of seconds. It wouldn't even be able to hop. That's how heavy it would be. So, skip back. Alright, am I recording? Good, okay.
This awesomely powerful creature was king of the dinosaurs. Much about T-Rex has been shrouded in mystery. Now, with modern technology, a clear picture is taking shape. Remarkable physical capabilities that
Okay, that kind of looks like Allosaurus, but that is maybe Giganotosaurus. Now, you okay, so there's two things I'm gonna post out. Do you see how fast they're running? They didn't actually run that fast. They ran about maybe around the double digits, not 9 miles an hour, but maybe at least 15 or 20 miles per hour at the least. That's how fast it could run. It was mainly an ambush predator. Now, I mean, of course, the large debate either if it was a hunter or a scavenger. So people are just saying it was both. We still don't know yet. So of course. And then also the fact, look at these feathers. T-Rex has now been scientifically proven that Tyrannosaurus Rex didn't have feathers. Jurassic Park was pretty accurate with its T-Rex. It was pretty scaly. No feathers whatsoever. I mean, of course, Saurian has the most accurate T-Rex ever constructed. Actually, of course, it's right here. That is as accurate as possible with the T-Rex. So, I mean, of course, this was from 2019 when T-Rex was still believed to be feathered. So, yeah, T-Rex was not feathered. T-Rex was as scaly as a lizard. As a giant lizard. A tyrant lizard. So, and then...
remarkable physical capabilities that defy conventional wisdom.
Yeah, that Giganotosaurus is standing... That Giganotosaurus was standing too upright for its size. Giganotosaurus, if you didn't know, was actually bigger than T-Rex, but didn't have as strong as a jaw. And if you didn't know, T-Rex had the strongest bite force out of any terrestrial animal, only it being rivaled by, of course, the Megalodon, which had the strongest bite force out of any animal that has ever existed on this planet. So, extinct or alive. So.
An advanced brain and intellect for hunting.
We look at their brain and wonder
I
whether
better not
that
get copyrighted for this music.
enlarged cerebrum may have actually had the capacity to be involved in sort of a coordinated group hunting effort.
In addition, new fossil finds from around the world are revealing the origins of this enormous predator.
Okay, this part actually surprised me when I saw this a long time ago.
It turns out that T-Rex's
Actually, I'll let it say it.
ancestors were actually small and frail.
That is true.
They
That
were
is
something
actually
much
really true.
smaller, much weaker.
Somehow, Tyrannosaurs
Okay, so that looked like a stegosaurid. Now, that's from the Jurassic period. Now, if you don't know, that is Guanlong. That is the first Tyrannosaurid species to have ever existed. Tyrannosaurid actually sort of existed during the last dinosaurs that existed from the Jurassic period before the Jurassic extinction event, which led on to the Cretaceous, where the most evolutionary dinosaurs ever to roam the Earth. Now, Guanlong actually surprised me because look, these guys are feathered. Guanlong wasn't actually feathered, which is the reason why T-Rex isn't feathered. That's the reason why one of the reasons why they say that T-Rex isn't feathered, because Guanlong wasn't feathered, and also because T-Rex doesn't have those little holes around its face like a modern bird does. If birds have pores all over their skin, which hold like feathers and or like fuse to their bones, so like that's how they can fly. Dinosaurs had more hair like feathers, or believed them. Some did, some others didn't. So.
transformed from small creatures threatened by their enemies into the most powerful dinosaurs of them all.
That was from Jurassic Park.
Starting with the very earliest ancestors, we'll explore an amazing tale of evolution. Siblings on a journey in search of new lands. They cross paths with a fearsome carnivore.
Yeah, that's Giganotosaurus. Because Giganotosaurus was in the Cretaceous period, but it looks like that was a Stegosaurid right there. So meaning that was from the Jurassic, but the thing is...
The king of kings, Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is a story of 100 million years of remarkable evolution.
That is one evolved dinosaur right there. That is a fluffy boy right there.
Inside a 160 million year old soil strata, they found a completely new meat-eating dinosaur. A crown-like appendage on its head inspired its name,
Yep.
Guanlong, or
Basketball is
I
back.
apologize.
Stream the action live with YouTube TV.
Need me to. It's alright. I'll be right back. Okay.
Shu and his team conducted a detailed analysis of the teeth and bones. They determined that Guanlong was T-Rex's ancestor.
And indeed it was.
我们才意识到啊，我们可能有了这个暴龙家族的最早的代表。当时是非常非常的兴奋，应该说。
Ah, there they are.
If you don't...
A group of Guanlong siblings. They're on the hunt. One takes off. Perhaps he's the oldest.
Got
He
it!
closes
Okay,
in on
I
his
was
prey.
wrong. I actually assumed that was a Stegosaur due to its tail. That actually is from, I think, maybe from the Cretaceous period. If you don't notice those... Here, let me pause it real quick. If you don't notice those spikes, I can't remember what dinosaur that was. That might be Gigantospinosaurus or... Sauropelta? I can't remember. I will have to look that up. I can't remember.
At this point in time, the Guanlong was just 3 meters, dwarfed by the 13-meter-long T-Rex. It weighed only 75 kilograms, 1/80th of the weight of its massive cousin.
The very oldest tyrannosaurs were much, much different, much smaller, but they didn't have anywhere near the firepower of a T-Rex. They were kind of like, cats or dogs, kind of that type of animal. They weren't, the big bears or the big lions or the big tigers at the top of the food chain.
How did such a small and relatively weak creature eventually lead to T-Rex, the largest dinosaur of them all?
That is not true. The largest dinosaur that has ever been found, well, okay, the largest dinosaur of them all. They didn't say whether they didn't say largest carnivore of them all. The largest dinosaur, of course, is Argentinosaurus, which is that giant sauropod. But the largest carnivorous dinosaur that to be believed to be bigger is Spinosaurus. Now, what the thing is, I don't think that sail counts. The spine, I know, I mean, there's bones up to it, but I really don't think. I feel like that's cheating for the Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus is just its spine is so much bigger, and the thing is, it's believed that it swam basically almost like an aquatic creature, and also walked on 4 legs, not on two. It was actually like a quadruped, so not a bipedal carnivore. Well, it was also mainly piscivorous as well. So, and the thing is, if Spinosaurus ever would have tried to break T-Rex, it would have broken its jaw because of how narrow it is. T-Rex would have easily taken on Spinosaurus, even its sheer size. So, but Giganotosaurus, on the other hand, would have actually given it a pretty decent fight, just because of its sheer size and pretty decent bite force.
The story of tyrannosaurs is really a story about evolution. And one of the things that it tells us is that evolution is unpredictable. When those very first tyrannosaurs like Guanlong entered the scene 170 million years ago, you never would have thought that they would ultimately evolve into giant monstrous animals like T-Rex, but that's what happened.
Look at their arms. They're really similar. I'm pointing at my screen if you can't see. Their arms, here, I'll use my cursor. Their arms are actually, look how similar that is right there. Now, I don't know if this is completely accurate, but their arms are really similar to that of Guanlong's. They are robust and arched like that, but they have 3 fingers. What the evolution decided to take off 1 finger to make it hard for T-Rex, and decided to shorten them, but actually, they weren't shortened. They're the same size as Guanlong's hands. It's just because T-Rex is bigger. That's why. Its arms didn't get smaller. Its body got bigger, if that makes sense.
How were they able to survive for so long, for 80 million years, as these small, human-sized...
They ate and drank. Just putting it out there.
carnivores? And then maybe the biggest mystery of all, how were those small tyrannosaurs able to switch and become these giant, dominant super predators?
The keys to unlocking these mysteries are newly discovered fossils from around the world.
Okay, we're good.
Researchers have discovered 28 species related to T.Rex.
Right.
Brusati has conducted detailed analyses of the bones of some of these specimens. His goal was to clarify the process behind T.Rex's evolution. The approach he used is called...
Okay, so, of course he's pointing at it, but let's see, there's Allosaurus. Allosaurus is one of the dominant species that existed during the late Jurassic period, then that escalated to Guanlong, which is at least at the early Cretaceous period. Then that went all the way down, Eotyrannus, Raptorex, Albertosaurus, Lithonax, and then Tyrannosaurus and Tarbosaurus, which, if you didn't know, Tyrannosaurus and Tarbosaurus, basically you would not be able to tell the difference from Tarbosaurus. Tarbosaurus literally had almost the same exact skeleton structure as T-Rex, except Tarbosaurus may have been a little bit smaller, if I am correct. Gorgosaurus, I have to sneeze. Anyways, Gorgosaurus, sort of a Tyrannosaurid. I think it did have 2 fingers, I do believe. And then Eudyrannus, that is, I think, the only Tyrannosaurid that was feathered. And then there's also the Reaper of Death, which is one of the newest like Tyrannosaurids that was found. They call it the Reaper of Death. And So yeah, it's literally the evolutionary line of T-Rex, except these are all the different dinosaurs that T-Rex had to go with.
Phylogenetic analysis.
We have hundreds and hundreds of those features that vary in these dinosaurs. Some have the bone, some don't. Some have small muscle attachments, some have big ones. Some have triangle-shaped bones or projections, others have square-shaped ones. Those kind of features that are variable.
Brusati's analyses have illuminated 366 distinctive characteristics of tyrannosaur bones. And the data he's amassed form the basis for mapping T-Rex's
That's like
family
Thorax
tree.
right there. Then there's Tyrannus.
The results
Tyrannosaurus.
confirm that the diminutive Guanlong was indeed the most primitive species of
Okay,
tyrannosaur.
wait. Do you see that where it says Jurassic? That isn't actually that true. Tyrannosaurus was at least, Tyrannosaurus, if you believe it was actually in the between of this line, it was actually part Jurassic, part Cretaceous, just because it survived the Jurassic extinction event. That was the only dinosaurs that had survived an extinction event, then evolved into what we know and love today, of course, Tyrannosaurus Rex, or the Tyrant Lizard King. Um, it's a it's a weird thing to explain, but it's like it is from the Jurassic, but it isn't. It's because its common ancestor, Tyrannosaurus Rex, is mostly in the Cretaceous, while the last known Tyrannosaurus is quote unquote from the Jurassic. It's a pretty it's it's weird to explain, but this is not as accurate, but some of this is true. Okay, actually, what I'm actually saying here is that some species of Tyrannosaurids were in the Jurassic, but the same species of that Tyrannosaurid or Guanlong was in the Cretaceous. So that's what I mean. They were in both because they survived. So
From the time the first Guanlong emerged until T-Rex appeared took 100 million years. Over this time, dramatic evolutionary advances created a creature of unparalleled dominance.
So it is an unusual animal, a freak of nature, a feat of evolution. And I'm fascinated to learn, to try to understand how evolution makes an animal like T-Rex. That's the mystery that drives me in the research that I do.
160 million years ago, China's Jungle...
okay, I'm gonna check my quick. Okay, so 116 million years ago. Or 160 million years ago. Of course, that is during the Jurassic period. Now, that is just 10 million years out of the from to the Cretaceous. Now, evolution, that's a lot of time for evolution to 10 million years is a great amount of time for evolution. 100 million years, that is just unreasonable amount of time for evolution to create its species of life. And of course, Guanlong being one of the first tyrannosaurs for the Jurassic, it just survived the 10 million years before the Jurassic extinction to the Cretaceous. So, yeah.
Basin was home to the Guanlong. This species then migrated to North America, and about 70 million years ago, T-Rex appeared.
170, did you hear that? It's 10 million years mixed together, or not mixed together, that's 10 million years apart. See, so it's...
The question is why T-Rex's ancestors left their familiar environment and set out on their epic journey. A clue can be found in the southern reaches of the Pacific Ocean. 5,000 meters beneath the surface lies an enormous lava plateau. Naohiko Okochi has studied the formation.
そのサイズがですね、とてつもなく大きくて、北海道から沖縄までがすっぽり入ってしまうほどの大きさですね。だいたい 2000km 四方と。
That's big.
This huge lava mass was created by a major geological event 120 million years ago.
Watch the NBA Finals live on ABC with YouTube.
Oops.
Tube TV.
Oh my god, these ads.
The Thermoscientific, Dionix, ICS
I
6000,
don't care. I just.
HPI.
Deep inside the Earth is a swirling mass of matter called the mantle. Magma suddenly surged up, erupting through fissures in the ocean floor.
These aren't volcanoes, by the way. I don't think. No,
The
those are
Pacific
volcanoes.
Ocean wasn't the only place.
I was
this
wrong. I
occurred.
was thinking of something else.
All over the world, volcanoes violently burst to life. These major eruptions also occurred on the Eurasian continent, where the primitive tyrannosaurs lived. They had no choice but to flee.
Now, Tyrannosaurs, okay, if you didn't know, since
Leaving-
so you see that at least if Tyrannosaurs were desperate for food and water, they would cannibalize each other. But Tyrannosaurs actually had a choice. They weren't actually really cannibalistic unless they had to. So they had the choice of whether to be cannibalistic or not. On the other hand, like Ceratosaurus, they were cannibalistic. They were cannibalistic whether or not. Carnotaurus was cannibalistic whether or not. But T-Rex, it had a choice. Even like it's actually really surprising for like such an apex predator.
Leaving familiar territory behind, they began a journey into the unknown.
Their mouth, their jaws are starting to take shape.
They headed toward the north
That's the United States
for
right
a
there.
reason. Climate change. The gases released by volcanic eruptions contained large amounts of carbon dioxide. This triggered global warming.
二酸化炭素の濃度が現在の、およそ 2.5 倍から5倍、それによって温室効果が起きまして、植生をですね大きく、北極圏へまで広げ、そしてそれが最終的には恐竜のですね、生態を変えて、あるいは進化を引き起こしたというふうに考えても不思議ではないと思います。
As the Earth warmed, lush forests sprouted up from Siberia to the Arctic. Xu Xing believes this greening of the north encouraged the tyrannosaur's migration into the unknown. Searching for a new home with bountiful game, they start out on their epic journey.
So yes,
They arrive-
that was the Tyrannosaurus documentary. Now this is, I hope I actually don't get copyrighted for that music, but this is in no way a threat to the publisher, the uploader, probably the same thing, and the actual documentary. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.